everybody. It's your podcast, Sista Lisa. And if you enjoy discovering new music, then you've come to the right place. I have Cassandra Carson, who's going to rock the house today. She's so talented. She's a singer-songwriter and expert guitarist, I have to say. And here she is, Cassandra Carson. Thanks for joining me today.
Hello. Thank you for having me again.
I know. This is so exciting to get to interview you again.
I appreciate it.
So, Cassandra, you know, you're interviewed quite often and you're asked about the story behind the band Paralandra that you're in with your dad, Paul, as well as Sawyer and Dakota. And when we spoke last, it was a great interview, and I want to let you know I'm going to put a link in the program notes so our listeners can hear that interview as well, because I want to talk with you about what you're doing currently. You are so hard to catch up with. You just do so many things.
That is true. Normally different state, any given day or week or country, I guess. But right now I'm kind of on a little bit of a break, which is really nice. So it's been a crazy touring year already thus far because, you know, Paralandra was out on the road with Lynch Mob for the final ride tour, like January through March, basically. So, yeah, after that, like, did the Monsters of Rock cruise. I took a girls trip with my mom and her friends to Belize a couple weeks ago. And then, now I'm in Philly, just getting some family time in with Jaron and his side of the family. It's always a crazy busy life.
It is. And I think that's what I like most about you. You are so hardworking, but at the same time, Cassandra, you really shine and you enjoy life to the fullest. I did see on your Instagram the girls' trip to Belize. And
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. And it was such a great group of girls. Like, it was my mom's friends. One of them all the way from kindergarten that she has stayed best friends with this whole time. And anyway, so they're all just like really tight and, also just willing to do anything. So we went and climbed on Mayan ruins. We went snorkeling out in the ocean on the reef, which was so scary for me, but fun. And I don't know. I mean, we went ziplining. Of course, we got some relaxation in there as well, but you know, equal parts excursions and relaxing, I should say.
Yeah, and I love the reel, Cassandra, with you feeding that fish.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, the mouth was like this big and you didn't even flinch. I mean, you're fearless.
Wow. Well, you would think, but that was in slow motion and I definitely was scared. I was like, whoa! I moved a lot faster in real life.
Oh, I love it. So let's talk about two of your recent collaborations. So we're going to talk first about your collaboration with Josh Rand from Stone Sour. And your collaboration started in 2022, and you named that project the Life Project.
Correct.
And tell me what that name means to you and how you guys came up with that.
So the Life Project was kind of Josh's brainchild. And we actually started kind of working together in 2020. It was a COVID project. Like, Josh didn't really have much going on. And of course, neither did the rest of the world at that time. I wasn't doing much touring. So, yeah, it was just kind of a mutual friend, Dave Rath from Roadrunner Records, that hooked us up. And yeah, we just kind of started like playing around, like maybe doing some cover songs, did some Van Halen, did some Beatles, just to kind of like test the waters, you know, like see what it was like working with each other. But honestly, it went really well. We started, doing some fun covers. Then we started doing some of Josh's original material, that like all the music had been written, but he didn't have any lyrics or melodies to it yet. So, we started kind of trying to work on that stuff and see what it would be like if we started collaborating on music together. Like, what would that sound like? What genre would that be? So anyway, it was just like a pretty like fun, easygoing, organic process. And Josh ended up naming the band the Life Project. And he's kind of came up with a few acronyms, but nothing like really has ever set in stone. So, but I guess the general meaning behind it is just, that you only get one life and you might as well do something with it that you love and enjoy. And that's kind of what the Life Project was for Josh, was to kind of go back to his roots in kind of that thrash metal scene, stuff that he grew up on. So it was kind of like a full circle thing for him. And then, for me too, it's just, you get one life, so you might as well go through every open door that you're presented with, or at least a few of them. And so that's kind of what this one was for me, a new opportunity, something that I hadn't done before that could be really fun or really scary potentially. So yeah.
I've had a chance to listen to the music that you and Josh have created, and I listened to Dying of the Light, and I absolutely loved it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and tell us about the story behind that song.
So yeah, Dying of the Light, it'll be on the next EP that we put out later this year. So I'm really excited. It's been a few years in the waiting period. But Dying of the Light, man, what a cool song. I just remember getting the music from Josh, as usual. He's like done all the production, all the instruments, and all I have to do is come up with lyrics and sing on top of it. So you would think it's easy, but sometimes a little more difficult than others. But he had already named the track Dying of the Light, because we like to come up with just track names, even if they don't have words yet, just so that we're not calling them like track 1, track 2, Josh 8. Like, it gets really confusing and hard to separate everything, with names like that. So anyway, the track was already named Dying of the Light. And as I was listening to it, I was like, man, this title like really fits the vibe of this song. Like, what does Dying of the Light mean? I know I've heard this phrase before. And so, did a little research and was like, okay, so it's kind of like, that light at the end of the tunnel that, potentially seals up and goes black and there's nothing left. Or like the way that I see it would be, you could go towards that dying of the light and maybe potentially get to it before it goes out. So anyway, I'm kind of a deep thinker whenever it comes to my songs and stories that I write about. Sometimes it's personal, but this time was one of those times where it was a fictionalized story in my head that I kind of wrote to the title and wrote to the music, whereas it didn't really come from some personal experience. But the lyrics as a whole are about, like, if you were in a relationship with somebody and, you think that they're the most amazing person in the world and they treat you great and all these things, but then all of a sudden you find out that they are not the person that they said that they were. And finding out the truth underneath kind of that superficial layer of, happiness or giddiness or whatever it's disguised as at the time. But anyway, yeah, I guess it's kind of a bit of revenge. It's a bit of betrayal, a bit of hoping for the future. So, yeah.
Well, like I said, it's fantastic. And it did resonate with me. It really did.
Well, hey, there you go.
And so I watched the official video of that song, and definitely classic. You're on stage with a full band and you're so controlled, but yet here's this heavy metal song and you're just belting it out. You have such a classy way though when you're performing. I can't explain it unless the listeners view that video. You, again, light up the stage.
Oh,
You
thanks.
truly do. You're blessed and gifted. And I think you're quite famous for your leaps across the stage with the guitar playing. And I saw an Instagram photo. Cassandra, your vertical leap is like insane. It's higher than a professional basketball player. Where is this coming from?
I don't know, but I attribute it to gymnastics because I've just always been a jumper for whatever reason. It was like my secret power in volleyball because I'm just 5'9", so like, decently tall. But when it comes to volleyball, like those girls are 6 foot plus, for the big leagues. But I would play middle, which is, notoriously a very tall person position. But I could jump, so people wouldn't really expect me to be able to put up that big of a block, but I could jump pretty high.
Yes, you can.
I have my high jump and long jump school record from high school, which I just found out is still standing like 3 days ago. My old high school coach texted me.
Awesome. I want to also talk about the song from the Life Project, Worthwhile. And we're going to play a song snippet in a minute with this song. It's Cassandra in a softer way. It's an acoustic sound, and I love the piano. And tell us about what you were looking to do in the studio with this particular song.
Yeah, well, kind of exactly like you said, I wanted to show just a softer style of my voice and just kind of another perspective of it. Because I do 100%, I love just singing rock music and going heavy and, balls to the wall, that whole thing. I love it. So, no hate against that, but it is nice to, give your releases a little bit of dynamic and, letting it come down a little bit before it goes back up again. And that way you don't have the, what do you call it? Listening, fatigue is what I'm trying to think of. Listening fatigue. Whenever you listen to kind of the same vibration or kind of just the same energy level of music straight for a long period of time, sometimes it can all start to sound the same. So I guess my intention here with this was to kind of break it up a little bit and give the listener something else that they hadn't really gotten from the rest of the EP or really even from my other projects, to be honest.
Yeah.
And yeah, something heartfelt, something that people can connect with. There's something about a good ballad, that gets everybody's emotions going. So
Absolutely. And I think that's a great way for me to introduce snippet number 1, the song Worthwhile featuring Cassandra, Carson and the Life Project. And when we come back, we're going to talk more music. Cassandra, that song is a wow. I mean, it's just beautiful. Your voice is amazing. So I want to talk about another project, another collaboration that you were doing on top of traveling with Paralandra. And, it's called Cassandra's Crossing, and it's a collaboration with George Lynch from Lynch Mob. And he happens to be one of the world's most recognizable heavy metal guitarists. Yeah. And, you've just released your debut album, Garden of Earthly Delights. How would you describe the vibe of this album?
It's definitely a rock album to its core. You've got cool guitar riffs, guitar solos. It's just, it's George Lynch to a T. And a lot of people have said that it reminds them of like some of the early Dokken material. So that, just makes me really excited to be part of something like that. But I guess like there's that George Lynch side of it, but then, there's the Cassandra half that comes in, and it's kind of that like almost pop inspiration where you've got like the hooks and melodies to go along with the heavy music. And that's always like my favorite kind of contrast is like dark, heavy music, but pretty soaring melodies.
And you have such chemistry, the two of you musically. And I know that you've often talked about the first time, I believe, that you were singing on stage. It was kind of unexpectedly. You got a chance to sing Street Fighting Man with Lynch Mob. And Cassandra, I had to go and I wanted to watch that video on YouTube. And whoever filmed that, I mean, they did a fabulous job because it really shows how you're almost like giddy and childlike when you go on stage and you're just, smile ear to ear. And then when the music starts, oh my gosh, I mean, you just nail it. I mean, it's like turn a switch on and you're just rocking it. And you could tell not only the audience was loving it, the performers, George on stage, were just amazed. I mean, what was that significant moment like for you?
I mean, it was surreal. Like I was primarily nervous to remember the words above all things. And that first time that I guested with them, it was kind of a duet, with Keith St. John. He was their fill-in singer for the night. So we were kind of like trying to make a duet out of this song that was not a duet. So like my main focus was just kind of like, reading him and kind of like figuring out who's going to sing what, and we're going to pass it back and forth and, that sort of thing. But yeah, I didn't really notice until afterward, whenever I watched the video back, that like George, every once in a while would like kind of look over at me.
You saw that. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
yeah. So that was like really cool. And then, I also remember after playing that, Jimmy DeAnda came out from behind his drums and gave me a big hug and was like, "We are staying in contact. I will delete people off Facebook if I have to make sure that you're my friend. Like this is not going to stop." And, it just made me feel really special. And, like I did a good job and I was proud of myself and, yeah, a lot of good feelings.
Yeah.
And it was just fun, obviously, on top of all that.
Yeah. And so what do you think the reason is behind, that chemistry? And even with Paralandra, you just feel like it's a natural fit.
Just being on stage, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it is just kind of a natural thing. Like, just another aspect of it would be watching my dad perform as a kid. And he's always been in bands my whole life, whether it was like in the church worship team or a cover band, or if it was an original project, whatever it was. He was such a performer on stage and great player, of course, on top of that. And I always just loved that about him. It made it fun for me to be in the audience. So it only made sense if I'm going to be on stage, I want my audience to be having a good time, to be entertained, So it kind of just runs in the blood, I think.
It does. And speaking of your dad, how do you think your relationship has evolved over the years since the band has, started in 2013? And now you're so successful. You've got millions of streams and views, Paralandra. How do you think your relationship has grown as professionals on stage?
Well, yeah, it's hard to even encapsulate, how has our father-daughter relationship grown immensely, so much deeper. We're much closer. We even still in recent years and recent months are communicating about topics that we've never really talked about before. And, we're continuously having conversations that are meaningful and deep and pertaining to ourselves personally and personal beliefs, which I just think that in general is extremely important to do with people, let alone, with your family, with your dad. I think that's super important. And on top of all of that, we're running a business together, like you mentioned. So our business relationship has really had to deepen and mature over the years. And decision making when it pertains to spending money and promoting things and investing, it's a lot that you have to balance and juggle at the same time. So I think we've done a great job of kind of growing with each other throughout the years and taking one thing on at a time as it comes. It's a crazy storm, but we got each other to help each other through it. So
yeah, well, that's great. And I know your mom's involved as well, booking concerts, and it is a family business, and you're doing a great job. So back to George and your Cassandra Crossing debut album. I wanted to talk with you about the song Run for Your Life. And what a kick-ass song.
I love this song.
I do too. It's probably one of my favorite. And tell us about the song.
This song was so much fun to write. Jaron, my boyfriend, actually helped me complete this one because I had this idea for it. I just wasn't quite executing it by myself in the way that I was hoping I wanted it to turn out. Anyway, Jaron is a great lyricist though. So I was like, okay, I'm thinking about the verses being almost kind of a rap, like da 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 da. So I start kind of just scatting, basically, just nonsense words, but kind of singing the rhythm that I'm hearing or whatever. So anyway, he was like, oh yeah, I totally get what you're saying. So we start collaborating on lyrics, and the whole song is just about basically I'm a monster and you need to run for your life because I'm coming after you. And it's just the whole vibe of the lyrics, but it was really fun to write. There's so many parts in this song, it's only 3.5 minutes and maybe even a little bit less than that, but it feels like it's a 5-minute song because of how much is shoved into this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And that is the reason why I picked this song for snippet number 2, Run for Your Life by Cassandra Carson, and the collaboration along with George Lynch and Cassandra's Crossing. And here we go. Get ready to rock. And when we come back, we're going to talk more music. What a great song. Like you said, the tempo of that song and how you're able to sing with that speed. And like you said, it is like a heavy metal rap song. And I mean, this is when it really shows the professional in you and what sets you apart from everybody else. I really, truly believe that song.
Oh, thank you.
It's all true.
I really appreciate it.
It's all true. So I want to close the show by talking about the final tour, the final ride with Lynch Mob that you and the band have just experienced. I mean, this was a huge milestone for you. Tell us about it and how significant this was for you and all those involved.
Man, it was significant on many levels. The first thing that my brain goes to is just how much work it was on the Paralandra side of things. I mean, I don't know how much I need to go into detail about like the logistics of the tour, but what the heck, it's over now. Might as well. So Paralandra was supplying and traveling with all of the backline for Paralandra and Lynch Mob. So we had double the amount of gear in our trailer that we would normally have. And we were the first ones to arrive at the venue every day, and we were the last ones to leave every night. We were our own roadies. We were Lynch Mob's roadies. You know, we literally like ran the show and made sure that every evening would be able to put on a concert. And didn't get a lot of sleep. It was really grueling, and excruciating at times, to be honest. Touring is it's really hard work. And, you know, of course, between shows, you got sometimes upwards of a 12-hour drive to your next show. So it's just like, it's really, really crazy. So, I would say that just from one aspect, you know, work ethic and the ability and the effort put forward was one of the huge takeaways for me. It's just like how hard that you can and have to work to make it a reality sometimes. It's like, how bad do you really want it? How far will you go to make this a reality?
All right. So you were talking about the work ethic and how, yeah. And that's what, again, like I started the show off saying, that's really what I admire the most about you. You know, everybody wants to be a star, but you work so hard to accomplish all that you have. And it's nice to see. And I'm so happy for your success. And I want to encourage everyone to check out your website and look at your touring schedule, because maybe those listening may have a concert nearby. And I also want to encourage everyone to look at your merch. Love, Cassandra, the new t-shirt you came out with.
Thank you.
And,
yes, I'm so excited about those.
Yeah. And and having said all that, thank you again. Where can people find you on your website? Would it be Paralandra or Cassandra Carson?
So paralandrarocks.com would be where you get all of Paralandra's information. The lifeprojectband.com is where you can get all the Life Project info. Cassandra's Crossing does not have an official page. So if you want to just follow me at Cassandra Carson Official, for all the projects, you can, because I'm constantly posting, you know, whatever is going on in my world, on my socials. So, yeah, those are the good spots. And of course you can stream all the music on all the streaming platforms. You can find it pretty much anywhere these days, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And you're going to love her music. Definitely add it to your collection. And again, thank you, Cassandra. And like I always end my podcast, that's a wrap.